Okay, this is going to be triplates, take 2. In the kit, there's 3 different sizes of plastic for the triplates. There's the 1/8 inch clear acrylic, 30 thousandths ABS, which is thin, and 16th inch ABS, which is obviously not as pliable as the thinner of 30 thou. So we got the thinner stuff. The thinner stuff gets laminated to the 1/8 inch material. The reason for this is to bring it up to a scale size that we have. The axle spacer right here. I can't touch an edge on this. Just spaces them out. And so this is the outside of the triplate hub, and this is the inside against the body of the Landmaster. So yeah, that sits against it like this. So the thicker side's on the inside because it houses all the transfer gears and everything. So pieces come off the laser cutter. If the acrylic has a film on it, peel that off like this. You know, just protective film because it's clear. You know, we don't need that. I'm just going to clear the workbench here of just what we need to work on, which is the 16th inch, 30 thou, and the 1/8 inch acrylic. I'm putting that all off to the side here. So now I'm just going to make sure that this is flat. Sometimes when the laser cutter cuts this, it leaves a raised edge. I just want it to be absolutely flat because that's going to be our gluing surface. We'll true up the other side too before painting. It just takes off that edge. Also, I'm going to clear all the holes with a 16th inch drill. Except the center, that's a 3/16, and that should be, yeah, don't go wobbly with your drill like I just did there. That should already be fixed in place for the spacer. Spacers are now, I'm making them out of brass, I'm not using aluminum. This is the 16th inch, or the 30 thou piece, and I'm sanding the side that does not have the bearing engraving on it. That's a detail part. If you look on the display model, if you look underneath it, you might be able to see those, but I put them on there anyway. These sometimes the holes sometimes don't get knocked out by the laser, so I'm just pushing them in with a rod. We're not doing anything with the 16th inch piece, so I'm just going to put that over to the side. Anyhow, okay, the 16th inch rods that I have right here are cut from the same material as that the 1 foot piece that's in the kit. There's two 1 foot sections of 16th inch steel rod in there for the axles for each one of the wheels. Let me grab my wheels. So the wheels go on these like that. And then the outside 16th inch plate goes on like, well, let's put the spacer on, let's do the whole thing here. Spacer, outside 16th inch. So we have everybody spaced out perfectly so it looks all correct. What we're going to do is we're going to laminate these two pieces together because I didn't call that out in the first build. Yes, I am building another one. So now I'm going to use a liquid model cement. Tamiya cement's good. Well done number 3 is good. I like to use a brush a little bit bigger. This is just the thin Tamiya cement. Getting a little hoarse from talking. So I like to separate the plastic a little bit because we're definitely just using capillary action to get the glue to go into it. But I'm just using a larger brush so I can get a bit more glue in there. And again, this is a thin, watery type of glue, so it'll want to run everywhere. I would not use super glue for doing this. That would lead to a big mess. But now the plastic, if you can see it, the plastic's melting together. If you leave this overnight, by morning it's just one piece of plastic. But you can still see there's some air bubbles right here, so I'm going to go in around the edges and see if I could get the, I don't know if you can see that, how the glue will find its way in. And you just do what you can to make sure it gets all the way through. I just go around the edges and brush it. And then I'll go back and clean this up with spot putty and sanding. Shouldn't have to sand too much. I would recommend just going over it with a spot putty to blend those edges and make it look like one continuous piece of metal. Make sure all your holes are lined up too. That's pretty much it. You know, again, make sure your bearings are on the outside and not the inside. But that's set up and not going anywhere. So I'm going to do a few more here. This is the one that I started before I realized the camera wasn't on. Duh. I'm going to separate this a little bit more with an X-Acto knife. Get that material in there. Just wasn't getting any penetration there. There we go. Just make sure all your rods are lined up. Nothing looks funky. Good. Alright, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to go do the last three. Okay, now that the glue is dried, I'm just going to move all the 16th inch pieces over. Obviously I was going to stop where I was, but now I'm going to take it all the way to the end here. Well, maybe not to the very end. This is straightforward stuff here. I'm just going to sand the edges very lightly so there's no real rough spots. And then we're just going to putty to make these just look like one solid piece. And I'll show you what a prime piece is, what it should look like when it's done. I just have to run upstairs and grab that part. So it is probably the coldest day of the year in Southern California. It's 45 degrees in my garage. It never gets to be 45 degrees. I know it's warm, considering what the rest of the country goes through, but I'm not used to it. I'm just using 400 sandpaper. So I'm not taking off a lot of material, I'm just flattening things out. Alright, so now I'm just going to use some of my putty. This is just, to me, a putty. The end of mine always gets junked up, so I just use it out of the tube. And I'm just going to just spread it over the top like that. There is a mouse in my garage again. We live near the mountains, so we get coyotes in the front yard and mice and all sorts of critters. I'm going to zoom in, see if you can actually see what I'm doing here. I have to stay right there. See if I can do this on the monitor. Here we go. I'm not the neatest puttier. Neater you are, the less you have to sand. But you definitely don't want to get any on the front of this thing because that would screw up the look of it. It seems the putty doesn't like to bite into the acrylic super hard. So you just gotta let it get in there. You could prep it with the glue if you wanted to. I've done it that way. If it doesn't look like it's sticking. And sometimes I use an automotive glazing putty, and I do like this stuff. It's just really it's got some serious solvents in there for to bite into it. But a lot of times I like using this stuff better. It's unfortunately just super duper expensive. Normal putty, to me a putty, I would stay away from testers. Squadron green putty I don't like. Stay away from the Bondo spot putty that they have at stores, because that's the grain on that stuff is way too rough for models. No, it looks like a mess, but a quick pass sanding will make that all nice and pretty. I'm gonna zoom out. I realize that I'm kind of too far away. I don't even know if I was in the camera. Kind of zoning out here. Get it all over my hands. Since I was a kid, I always get model paint and putty on my hands. What happened to my part? There we go. All right, I'm gonna press pause and I'm gonna show you what these things look like. So when you're done, the piece should look like that. See, a lot of the putty is taken off. These are primed. Didn't get the edge of this one. But the piece should just look like one continuous piece of plastic. Be the correct thickness for the Landmaster. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.